engine is in place. It is mostly fastened together, but not going to get rid of that yet until things are screwed together. But the engine is where I want it, so we're going to lock it in place and then rescan the engine bay. That's the bit.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Scene.
So Jake's got all the bolts, at least bolts to hold it in for the time being. We have a couple length problems that we have to deal with. So now we've been able to test fit the bolts and figure out what length we need. We'll be ordering some more bolts for the time being. The motor's held in and we're ready to take it down. Hey, look, it stayed up there. So now that it's going to be down, Jake spent the last week relocating the engine and getting it ready to be rescanned. From the rescan of the engine bay, I'll be able to relocate everything into position in CAD. And now we'll be going on to our third iteration of the exhaust manifold for mounting the turbo. As we get the car down and hold the turbo in, we'll talk a little bit more about how it'll be located and what orientation we want it in for optimizing space and tube length for the exhaust. So it's actually a new week to finish off where I left off a couple seconds ago. We got the RX8 down, and since Jake relocated the motor, we actually ran into a new clearancing problem that was actually solved with a sledgehammer. Part of the firewall was getting in the way of the lower and upper air intake manifold. So I promptly took I think it was like a 5-pound sledge, and we popped the firewall out of our way. With that squared away, I was able to scan the engine bay, and now we learned the new position of the engine, which shifts what we can fit for our turbo manifold coming off of the engine. And it's posing new problems and hurdles that we have to overcome. Having the engine rescanned, it really meant that I kind of had to start from scratch all over again, where my only reference point that I kept was the engine bay. But from that engine bay, I had to re-import everything into GOM Inspect. With GOM Inspect, I'm able to realign everything to the coordinate plane, so that way it is all lined up individually. Because with the scan, you don't just have a blanket scan that magically has the whole engine. We have to go through and scan the engine, the transmission, like the upper, the lower air intakes, the throttle bodies, like everything gets scanned individually and then placed into a coordinate plane. Being placed in the coordinate plane is a lot harder than just dragging and dropping like it's a Word document. So this software GOM Inspect is really cool in that it has these alignment tools to bring it to the X, Y, and Z coordinate plane. With the engine sitting where it is now, we're facing a new problem of, or I guess the same problem of where to put the turbo. The turbo fits in space all in that area, so we're not really concerned of if it fits or not. We know it fits. It's really just the where and the orientation that the turbo is going to have to sit. And that'll be the problem that we overcome going forward. I know I probably said it earlier in this video of that we'd talk more about it in this one, but a lot was going on this last month and we didn't get to it, and should be answering that really quickly in this next week. You know, when you take on the 20-minute job that you think it's going to be easy peasy and over, then you come back 6 hours later and it's finally done. That's kind of what happened with all the stuff we had going on. But we're finally there. We're still making headway, always making movement in the correct direction. Sometimes a few steps back doesn't hurt, but we're getting to where we need to be, and look forward to showing you guys more in the next one. Thanks for hanging around.